It got loud again. Not suddenly, just without asking. One day everything stops. Lights, messages, music. And for a moment, there's space. Then suddenly, emails, deadlines, smiling faces pretending nothing happened. Everyone's back to normal. That's the weird part. This isn't advice, and it's not motivation. There's nothing to fix here, nothing to optimize. This is just a moment most people rush past because standing still feels unproductive. If that already sounds uncomfortable, good. It means you're still paying attention. I almost remove this part. Disclaimers sound defensive, like I'm afraid you'll misunderstand me. But every time I take it out, the video turns into something louder, more confident, more explainy. And that's not what this is. It didn't creep back in, it rushed. One moment there was space, not silence exactly, just room to breathe. Fewer messages, shorter days, time that didn't immediately ask for anything. And then it was all back. Meetings with the same tone, emails written like nothing ever paused. People speaking in that familiar rhythm, fast, certain, already late. No transition, no how are you really, just continue. Like the pause was a glitch, not a feature. I noticed how quickly my own voice changed. Slower sentences disappeared first. Then the pauses. No one told me to hurry. I just adjusted, like I always do. What surprised me wasn't the speed. It was how easily everyone agreed. Conversations picked up mid-sentence. Plans continued as if they'd just been waiting in another tab. No one said, "That was strange," or "Something felt off." We didn't even pretend to check. Normal came back not because it was true, but because it was familiar. Familiar is efficient. Familiar doesn't ask questions. You don't need to explain familiar. You just step into it. And once you do, acting like nothing happened becomes the easiest role to play. I caught myself doing it too, nodding at the right moments, using the same phrases again, not because I believed them, but because they kept things moving. Questioning normal slows the room down, and slowing things down feels almost rude now. Silence isn't calm, not at first. The first thing it does is remove the noise you were hiding behind. No notifications to lean on, no urgency to borrow meaning from, just you and whatever didn't get processed in time. That's why the pause never lasts. Silence doesn't just ask questions. Sometimes it suggests answers you're not ready to agree with yet. It's not that we hate silence. We just don't like the moment when it stops being neutral. Noise is easier. Noise gives you a role. Silence asks something personal and doesn't tell you what to do with the answer. I still catch myself filling the space right before it turns uncomfortable. Not because I know what I want instead, but because leaving the question unanswered feels like a commitment. Silence isn't scary because it's empty. It's scary because it might not be. If any of this feels familiar, you're not the only one. This is basically what this channel is. Quiet observations. The stuff we notice after the noise. If you want more of that, you can subscribe. If not, stay for the rest anyway. I'm always awkward about saying this, but the channel only works if it finds the right people. Not everyone, just the ones who recognize this feeling and don't immediately run from it. And right on cue, motivation shows up. Not loud at first, polite, reasonable. It doesn't interrupt. It suggests maybe now is a good time to get back on track, to set a few goals, to turn whatever you felt during the pause into something useful. Motivation always sounds calm right before it starts rushing you. It never asks if you're ready. It assumes you are and calls that confidence. And when you hesitate, it doesn't argue. It just quietly relabels the moment as wasted. I notice how often motivation borrows my own voice. It sounds like common sense, like I already agreed with it. That's what makes it effective. By the time it starts demanding movement, I've already stopped listening to whatever needed more time. Somewhere around this point, a quiet thought shows up. Not dramatic, not panicked, just slightly uncomfortable. The feeling that everyone else is already moving and you're still standing where the pause ended. It doesn't feel like failure, more like missed timing. As if there was a moment you were supposed to turn something into action, and you didn't. So now everything feels half a step off. Conversations move faster than your thoughts. Plans sound reasonable, but land wrong. And you start wondering if the problem is you for not keeping up. This is where I usually try to speed things up artificially, saying yes faster, agreeing sooner, not because it feels right, but because it reduces friction. Falling behind isn't always about time. Sometimes it's about refusing to rush your own understanding. Maybe the strange part isn't that everything got loud again. Maybe it's how easily we accepted that it should. Pauses don't ask for permission. They don't explain themselves. They show up briefly, between things, and disappear the moment you rush past them. Nothing breaks when you miss one. Life keeps moving. Conversations still make sense. Plans continue. But something stays unfinished. Not in your schedule. Somewhere quieter. Not everything that pauses is meant to turn into action. Some moments only exist to be noticed. And once they're gone, you don't really get to decide whether they mattered or not. I used to think noticing something meant I had to do something with it. Now I'm less sure. Some realizations don't lead anywhere obvious. They just change how loudly everything else sounds afterward. If this felt familiar, it probably won't be the last time. New episodes come every week. Same pace, same quiet. You can subscribe, or just remember this the next time everything speeds up again. Awareness isn't comfort. It's residue.